Hey guys, I want to talk to you about a very serious issue, one that I've touched on briefly in another video if you've been on our Facebook. The issue is suicide. And the suicide rate in the LGBTQ community is much higher than that in the regular population of heterosexuals and so forth. So it's a very serious thing that we're going to hopefully deal with in our organization, hopefully lessen the incidence rate. That's what our goal is. But I want to talk to you on a personal level about what it means to deal with feeling like you want to die, wanting to take your life, or actually attempting to take your life. And I realize that people are watching this, that this may be a very sensitive subject because it's something that you've struggled with. And what I want to tell you is that you're not alone in that. In my work, I've dealt a lot with people who have committed suicide, who have attempted, and who talk about it very frequently. And because of me being very private about my life as a gay man for most of my life, I never shared details about what I went through and experienced, dealing with the frustrations and being unhappy about not being able to live authentically. I never shared that stuff. I talked with people at kind of a hand's distance, an arm's distance. I would let people in to a certain degree, but then I would push back when it became really personal because I was protecting a really big secret, and that was being gay. And being someone who grew up in a very conservative world, that is something that I felt like I had to do. I know now that that's not true, but it's something that I experienced then. And so I want to tell you about what it's like for me to talk to you about suicide. While I never went to a place where I had a plan that I would take my life, there were many days that I woke up and I did not want to live. And the reason I didn't want to live is because I didn't feel like I could continue to live this dichotomy. This ideal self and this real self, always at war and always in conflict. I didn't feel like I could continue that process. And if you watched my video about me coming out to my parents, you notice that I said to them, you can have me one of two ways. You can have me as your son who is gay or someone who is dead. Because I felt like at some point that tension, that internal conflict was going to come to a place where I would not be able to deal with it anymore. Now, I know that's a morbid thing to say, and that's something that some people, when you watch this, will probably shock you if you know me. But the reality is that there are a lot of people, some of you out there, who struggle in that same way. And this is the way I dealt with it. There were periods of my life, long periods, sometimes brief periods, but throughout my life, woven throughout my life, there were periods where I just did not know how I was going to function. And this is what I would do every morning. And this is somewhat what I do every day. As I just recalibrate my life, I would get up, and the first thing I would do is I would open my eyes and I would realize that this is me. And I'm as real as I'm ever going to be right now. And the reality is that you are never more real than when you lay down on your bed or you wake up in the morning. It doesn't matter if somebody's lying beside you or not, if you're alone especially. But when you put your feet under the sheets and you look up to the ceiling and you begin to drift off or close your eyes, that's the most real you're ever going to be. And what you do in that moment is you grapple with the truth of who you are. And there's nobody there to impress. And I did that every day of my life. And this is what I grappled with. The real self, who I really was that nobody truly knew, and the ideal self, the person that I put out there for people to see. And I'm not saying that I was a phony, because I was a genuinely loving person and a caring person. But I always had to be something that I was truly not at the core. And so as I would lie there like you do, maybe tonight, when you wake up in the morning and you do the same thing, you have to grapple with that reality. So here's what I want you to understand. That person that you wake up with, you go to bed with every night, I want you to begin the process of dealing with yourself as you are. And I want you to begin this process. Thinking of life, not thinking of death. You're valuable. I'm valuable. I'm valuable to some people. You're valuable to some people, even though you may not realize it. And your life is important. And what we want to do at Goal, Get Out and Live, is help you first get out and live and process that journey and go through it. We want to go through it with you. But we want you to be around. Suicide is not an option. It is not an out. It is not the way to choose. I know what it's like to wake up and to go to bed and to feel alone. and to feel like you're never going to be able to deal with a secret, you're never going to be able to come out, you're never going to be able to process this. And the easy way is to simply say, death seems to be the natural solution here. But I'm telling you that there is never something that you face that is so difficult, that is so bad, that you cannot overcome it. And I am telling you that from experience. I know what it's like to want to just not exist. Some of you may not even want to just take your own life, but you just want to go away. And you think about what it would be like just to not be here. And I can certainly relate to that. And that is not the place to live. I want you to be authentic, to be you, and to think and to focus on what life offers. And life offers a whole lot more than walking around in the misery of worrying about the next day and how you're going to live and how you're going to survive. And we want to help you through that process. So please, please reach out to us. Please call the number at the bottom of our website. I will answer that directly at this point because our staff is minimal right now, and we've got a few, but I will directly answer that phone call. And when we need to, we'll branch out to those around us that can help you, and we have people who are qualified to do that. But reach out to us. If you're thinking about that right now, just pick up the phone and call me. And I'm not trying to sound like a tele-evangelist here. I'm just telling you, pick up the phone and call me. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Call me. I know where you are, and I want to walk with you out of that. Thank you very much for listening. Please hear what I'm saying.